Arman Tsarukyan is out of UFC 311. I was watching the weigh-in show, and I was thinking, where's Arman? Where is this guy? He hasn't weighed in. He's out with an injury. Apparently, there's some back injury. He must have gotten in the way of his weight cut. The main event is off. But do not fear. Renato Moicano is stepping up for the main event, and I'm not even upset. I'm happy that this is not just some, random guy stepping in Jordani, a brain nanny guy. I'm happy that we're getting another top contender in the lightweight division, a top 10 ranked guy with insanely good grappling, well-rounded. He's not Arman. He's not as good as Arman, but Renato Moicano is one of the best lightweights on the planet. He's a beast on the ground. He's hungry as ever, and he was meant to be fighting on this card anyway. So it's not like, oh, again, Danny, you're going to come in now. It's not one of those random guys who wasn't really thinking he was going to be fighting. We got another guy that's had a training camp that's ready to fight this Saturday, and it's still a sick fight. What does this mean for Islam if he beats Renato? It means that he's most definitely not going to be moving up to welterweight because we still need to see the Arman fight. But this is about the best short notice replacement fight you could possibly have. It's not Fat Volk coming off the couch with broken arm who's got to cut 40 pounds in 2 days. Renato's ready. He weighed in this morning. He's, as I said, this guy still wants to be a champion. He's having his Jorge Masvidal moment in his career where he's on a crazy resurgence. And this guy's been dominating in his recent fights, right? So it's again, who else would be better? A striker? No, we have the Arman at home type of style, basically. And I don't mean to diminish Renato Moicano's style. I don't think he's as good as Arman. It is an easier fight compared to Arman Tsarukyan because Renato Moicano, his striking is certainly not on Arman Tsarukyan's level. I know Tsarukyan's not this big KO artist, but we're not about to sit here and act like Renato Moicano pieces people up and puts them out on the feet. All right, Renato's got decent striking. I don't think it's as good as it used to be. He's slower these days. I think his grappling has gotten a lot more dominant. His ability to impose his will has gotten even better. He's just a craftier guy these days. But it's still going to be a really solid opponent for Islam Makhachev in the sense that this is not a walkover, all right? We still could see some good old-fashioned competition. Will we? I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I do think this is, listen, we talk about how Islam Makhachev is, oh, he's just too good. He's just too good these days for everyone. I don't think anyone beats him at lightweight. But we were also saying that if anyone has the ability to do it, it's probably Arman Tsarukyan because of the wrestling, because he tested Islam in the first fight, and he's improved tenfold, and he's one of the best athletes, right? He's a young up-and-comer, Renato Moicano. Again, he was out of the cage for 1.5 years not so long ago with this injury, right? He is crafty. He's certainly crafty these days, but he's not necessarily a fresher guy in regards to where he is physically in his career. And again, Arman Tsarukyan's striking has been getting better. He just beat Charles Oliveira. That's a big difference between, beating a guy like Oliveira and beating a Benoit Saint Denis, a Jalen Turner. So again, it's not going to be as sick as the Arman fight because I really thought that there was going to be a 48-47 split decision that could potentially go either way. I was leaning with Makhachev. We're not getting one of the closest fights on paper. You got to favor Makhachev. Renato Moicano is not this great wrestler. He's a really good jiu-jitsu artist. But let's be honest, when we're just looking at this matchup and we're breaking it down, despite the fact that Renato is good, he's gritty, he's tough, he's hungry, he's got a lot of momentum. This is a guy with a full training camp who's also been preparing for a grappler. As far as the skills go, he is, in my opinion, a worse version of a Charles Oliveira. When it just comes to the skills only and what he can do in the cage, he's less dangerous on the feet. His grappling is amazing, but I would still give Oliveira the edge. I think Oliveira is the better wrestler. I mean, that's another point that I want to make. Oliveira, his wrestling is actually underrated. There's some people that Oliveira have no wrestling, brother. Well, but when you actually see Oliveira fight, guys like, for example, Michael Chandler, he's throwing him around the octagon, taking him down at ease. He does have pretty good takedown defense. Makhachev had to get real crafty in the clinch with Oliveira with clinch knees to get Oliveira to bite on them, and then he would be able to trip him with a judo throw. It's not so easy to take down Charles, and Charles, again, has a really good double leg, has good body lock takedowns. Renato Moicano is a slightly more wobbly, less wrestling, less dangerous on the feet version of Charles. And so what does that mean? He's probably going to get destroyed by Makhachev. I mean, like, let's just be honest. I think that's probably going to happen. I think that Makhachev going in there has a guy that is going to be easier to take down than Arman, that he's not going to feel as threatened by when it comes to getting taken down, and who's less fast and agile on the feet. So I mean, this is my first reaction. It's still a good fight because, again, Renato has a lot of momentum. It seems like he's the best he's ever been in his career, right? His grappling has leveled up, right? He seems to have reached his peak, even though he's 35 and he had a lot of time off because of this injury that he had. It's a good fight. It's a decent name. It's not like some 14 ranked guy or he was ranked at number 14 and he beat one person. He beat Bobby Green and now he's ranked number 14. No, Renato's just beaten Drew Dober, Jalen Turner, Benoit Saint Denis, and he was dominating Benoit Saint Denis. You know what I mean? It's a good fight, but it's a pretty easy fight to predict. As far as how the fight is going to play out, like exactly how it's going to play out, I think that Makhachev is going to have almost an identical approach that he did to the Charles Oliveira fight. I think we're going to see him on the offensive, looking to take down Moicano early, to take the wind out of his sails. He's going to get him in the clinch. He's going to take him down. He's not going to have to fear, this guy throwing up submissions off of his back because, again, he's already dealt with Charles Oliveira, who's better off of his back. Again, this is not the same kind of defensive wrestler as a Charles Oliveira. So I think we're going to see body lock takedowns for Makhachev, or I think we're going to see a trip. I think he's going to do that, again, to tire Moicano out. And if he can't get him out of there on the ground early, which is going to be difficult, you can't get Poirier out of there on the ground early. I don't know if you're going to get Moicano out of there on the ground early. I think Makhachev's going to be comfortable to light him up on the feet after tiring him out a little bit on the ground. And I think second round, we're going to see a Makhachev knee to the face for a solid punch that's going to clip Moicano. And I think he's going to rock him badly and put him out. Couple of follow-up shots after that. So I'm going to go with a second round TKO. We're going to see a little bit of grappling, but Makhachev's going to be in a dominant position, just kind of tiring him out a little bit. And that's going to be what it is. It is not as interesting as a fight as the Arman Tsarukyan fight. Listen, my first reaction to the news was fuck. The whole card is kind of, in a way, ruined because now Arman's out. I was really pissed off about that. But as soon as I saw that we're getting a replacement and Renato Moicano's the replacement, we shouldn't be that upset because there's a chance that we're not getting any replacement and Makhachev is totally out of it. Now we only have one title fight. We still have a title fight on our hands. Yes, Makhachev's going to win, but it isn't just a freebie. It's not just a, hey, man, here's an ally Quinta. That's not what this is, okay? That isn't what this is. But will the win, if Makhachev does beat Moicano, mean as much for his resume as a win over a prime Arman Tsarukyan? No, not necessarily. But, it's a decent win. It's, in my opinion, maybe slightly better than a Khalil Roundtree win for Alex Pereira. I think it's a better win than that because Moicano's very well-rounded. I think Moicano would beat, like Dan Hooker. I think he would beat Justin Gaethje. Who knows about Poirier? I mean, after watching Makhachev and Poirier, maybe Poirier could give him a run for his money. But Moicano was certainly good enough to be a top 5 guy in this division. And what does this mean? Makhachev is probably going to beat him. I mean, I picked Makhachev 48-47 against Arman. I'm going to go with a actual TKO. I think Makhachev finishes Renato in the second round. That's going to be my pick. I think there's going to be some good grappling exchanges, but I just see Makhachev catching him on the feet and hurting him on the feet. Moicano's been dropped by Fiziev. He's been hurt and stunned by a lot of fighters. Jalen Turner dropped him. even Drew Dober was getting them, and Makhachev has improved a lot. Of course, the threat of the takedown is going to be there. It's going to be a really tough fight for Moicano, but we're going to see that fourth title defense, right? And then Makhachev is going to fight Arman. And if he wins that, that would be 5 title defenses. He would tie Anderson Silva with that. Then if he moves up to welterweight, he would break Anderson Silva's record, and he would be the GOAT of the sport, in my opinion. So, again, for Makhachev, this is going to be a title defense, I think. But I'm just happy that we're seeing a replacement fight again. I was really scared that the whole fight would be off, and I could not stand to see that happen to this card. But we're actually going to get a fight with Makhachev. Thank goodness. Hopefully Arman can recover as soon as possible, and maybe we'll see Arman and Makhachev fight late summer or in Abu Dhabi. Oh, man, for Arman, that's probably what's going to happen. Tough for him because he was about to fight in L.A. There's so many Armenians in L.A. He was about to get tons of support. Man, it seemed like this was a really good time for him to fight Makhachev. What we're probably going to get is that October card, Makhachev headlining against Arman. That will 100% be his final lightweight fight. And think about the welterweight division. There's no news for Bilal and Shavkat, right? So that's probably not going to be set up until the summer. You know, that fight will be concluded. We'll know the result of that for a few months before Makhachev's title defense against Arman, which will probably be in October again, assuming he beats Renato Moicano, of course, because I think he will. And I think, you know, there's a chance Shavkat beats Bilal. If he does, we're definitely going to see Makhachev move up if he beats Arman. One worry that I have as a fan of Makhachev, who wants him to honestly like become the GOAT, because it'd just be really cool to see him achieve GOAT status. And it's very rare that we see fighters get, obviously, how many fighters have gotten this close? John Jones is up there, right? You got GSP, and now if Makhachev continues to win, you have him. That's 3 people that we're talking about. I'm a little bit worried because Makhachev's 33, right? He's going to have this fight. He's going to have the next fight. In my opinion, there was a chance that Makhachev, if he had actually fought Arman and beat him, he would have moved up to welterweight, had one more fight, and then called it quits. Now he's going to have another one. So hopefully we can see him fight in October and stay active. But let me know what you guys think. I'm really looking forward to this, but I think we're 100% going to see a Makhachev finish. Like, definitely. And I know that people after the fact are going to be saying, oh, we beat an easy Moicano, we beat an easy Moicano. But I don't know, man. I mean, Moicano's good. He's dangerous. He wants to be a champion. He's the best he's ever been. So it's still going to be a decent win. But, you know, we won't see the Arman fight until Abu Dhabi, which sucks. But it is what it is. Thank goodness we still have Makhachev in the main event, though. I'm still looking forward to the card.